Hi there, it's Rossouw with the ITONICS Academy. I'll be presenting this course about the essentials of strategic foresight. The course addresses the most fundamental questions about how to prepare for a successful future in an uncertain environment. That means that you'll find answers to these 6 key questions. First, why is strategic foresight important to prepare for a successful future? Or rather, why it's a necessity for any company interested in anticipating and responding to emerging trends and challenges. Second, before kicking off activities and tasks, what does a foresight team need to establish to drive continuous foresight? We'll explain what a strong foresight foundation looks like and the 3 pillars that uphold a continuous foresight process. Thirdly, how do foresight teams interpret signals? So we'll unpack the methodologies and tools to do signal scanning. Fourth, how do foresight teams uncover the underlying patterns that point to trends and technologies? We'll look at effective ways to categorize and analyze such drivers of change. Fifth, how do foresight teams derive implications and new business opportunities? You'll learn how to transform identified signals and trends into actionable insights. Finally, how do you set up a winning team? We'll teach you how to build foresight capabilities in your team to ensure enduring success for your company's future. Like every Academy course, this course is available 24/7. That means you define the tempo. There's also a wide range of support material you can refer to during the online course, like training videos, use cases and blog articles, as well as downloadable templates. Ready? Then let's jump directly to the first question. Why is strategic foresight important to prepare for a successful future? The answer is straightforward. Strategic foresight enables you to navigate uncertainty and capitalize on emerging opportunities. Facing the unknown is crucial for a company's survival and placing it on the road to success. But how do you know what you don't know? This is where strategic foresight comes in. It requires a systematic approach with a well-defined process to scout signals, assess trends, and derive opportunities. Otherwise, your organization's innovation management might end up just following one person's gut instincts. This is actually a common pitfall. Many organizations over-rely on single pieces of information or experiential bias. Instead, the right approach is to steer strategy based on credible data. To emphasize the importance of strategic foresight, let's have a look at this graphic, which illustrates one of the greatest management challenges of the 21st century, a concept known as Martek's Law. Coined by computer programmer and entrepreneur Scott Brinker, Martek's Law describes a conundrum where technology changes exponentially while organizations change logarithmically. Put simply, advancements in technology, from artificial intelligence to renewable energy, progress faster over time because developed technologies serve as building blocks for new technologies, and the rate of change soon reaches exponential speed. On the other hand, organizations don't change as quickly. In fact, the rate of change tends to decline as complexity and overhead increase, and established processes and practices often become more rigid rather than adaptable. As the gap between these 2 rates of change widens over time, companies risk being left behind. Future resilient companies need to actively and continuously cultivate a culture of adaptability. This is the benefit of strategic foresight. It empowers leaders to identify potential bottlenecks, streamline processes, and foster a flexible environment that can keep pace with the rapid evolution of technology. This gap between technological change and organizational adaptation highlights the importance of strategic foresight. The increasing speed of change that so many industries are facing requires companies to engage in foresight continuously and systematically so that opportunities and threats are not overlooked, so that decisions and strategies are backed by evidence, and that this is all done in the most efficient, productive way to maximize your team's capabilities and resources. Strategic foresight allows companies to look beyond immediate challenges, anticipate change, and not just passively withstand change, but actively, or rather proactively, shape change, to move boldly toward a preferred future, retain relevance, and secure a competitive advantage. This is why organizations engage in strategic foresight. Hey, welcome back. In the first session, we clarified why strategic foresight is key to preparing for a successful future. We highlighted that being able to deal with uncertainty is not just a skill, but an imperative in our fast-changing world. Strategic foresight helps you recognize changes in your business environment early, so you can prepare for the future. But as we touched on in the first session, success in foresight requires continuous and systematic efforts. As the Gartner Hype Cycle for Innovation Management Techniques 2021 points out, taking an ad hoc approach to foresight can, in fact, weaken strategic planning. And we've seen it firsthand in our experience. Foresight without a dedicated team or structure tends to be more reactive or biased, can lack continuity and depth of analysis, and is usually poorly integrated with decision making. Before you dive into foresight activities like environmental scanning and opportunity identification, as a foresight team, you need to establish a strong foundation for these activities. It's only with this foundation in place that you can achieve continuous foresight and influence the future of your company. There are three main pillars that are foundational to continuous and strategic foresight. Number one, a clear process to navigate the foresight landscape and a governance structure that ensures accountability. Two, broad expert involvement. And three, clear communication channels for sharing insights and informing strategic decision making. Let's look closely at the first pillar, establishing a clear process and governance structure. Here, we show an exemplary foresight process, from scouting to reporting. In the first step, scouts scan the business environment for signals, trends, technologies, risks, startups, and other external drivers of change. They can do this increasingly with AI-supported scouting and monitoring tools, as well as manual desktop research and other sources. The Foresight Manager then reviews and aggregates these findings. Experts then rate these trends and technologies, turning knowledge into actionable insights. In the final step, analysts derive and prioritize opportunities for strategic exploration. Following a structured process, including signal scanning, trend and tech scouting, and opportunity discovery, is crucial for making proactive and well-informed decisions. And overseeing the entire process is the Foresight Manager. They set the strategic direction and coordinate and integrate insights from various team members. All of this should be captured in a governance table. We've provided an example template you can download from the course support material. The second pillar is about tapping into the spectrum of expertise inside your company. Foresight is made more robust, relevant, and accurate with the contribution of specialized, technical, and diverse knowledge. Ensure you have mechanisms in place to engage internal or possibly even external experts. These experts play a key role when it comes to evaluating identified trends and technologies and prioritizing opportunities for strategic exploration. Think about how you can best capture the collective intelligence and expertise within your company's network. The third pillar is about communication. Trends, technologies, and opportunities uncovered through foresight mean little unless they are translated into actionable insights and shared with decision makers in your company. What are the communication channels through which these insights will flow? Do the right people have access in a format that is engaging and will empower them to act? Companies must do their part to foster a culture of transparency and knowledge sharing. The aim is that your team's foresight findings, your opportunity-rich insights, are not confined to static reports, but are actively communicated to the right audience to inform strategic decision-making. By establishing a structured process with clear roles and responsibilities, tapping into diverse expertise, and effectively communicating actionable insights, you build the foundations of a continuous foresight machine for your company to remain ahead of the curve in a rapidly evolving business landscape. Welcome back. Let us start again with a quick reflection. So, we learned in the last sessions that a common pitfall for many organizations is an over-reliance on single pieces of information and gut instincts prone to bias. To avoid this, a structured and continuous foresight process is necessary. It's a process that involves signal scouting, trend and tech evaluation, and opportunity discovery. But first, foresight teams must establish 3 foundational pillars: clear process and governance, broad expert involvement, and clear communication channels for transparency and decision-making. So now that you have a solid foundation for continuous foresight, in this session, we delve into how foresight teams actually get started doing foresight. And it all starts with scanning for signals, uncovering patterns, and identifying trends in technologies. These activities are part of the process of environmental scanning. The first step in environmental scanning is signal scanning. This involves systematically observing the external environment for evidence of emerging changes. It's the art of detecting the faint ripples before they become waves. Okay, but let's take a step back and answer the question, what is a signal? A signal is essentially an indication or early warning of potential future changes, trends, or innovations. It represents a piece of information or a data point that might suggest new directions in technology, market preferences, societal behaviors, or other areas relevant to business and innovation. Signals could be concrete and obvious, like filed patents, regulatory changes, or observable events and behaviors. Alternatively, they could be subtle and require more interpretation, like changes in industry hiring patterns, academic research, or social media chatter. The power of signals comes by attaching an interpretation and implication for the future to them. And what could seem insignificant on its own may point to something meaningful, a nascent trend or emerging technology, when combined with other signals. Here's an example of multiple signals that pointed to a now booming trend, the air fryer. Philips launched the first commercial air fryer in 2010. Adoption was slow at first, but the signals of change were there. And by the mid-2010s, air fryers started making a dent in the US market. Their current popularity can be traced back to several early signals, including a growing emphasis on health and wellness, demand for convenience, advancements in cooking technology, and even the rising cost of energy. What's more, with more people downsizing, either by choice or need, smaller kitchens and open-plan living began to shift preferences in home goods like appliances. These were all signals of the air fryer movement, which fully took hold during the COVID-19 pandemic, when more people were cooking from home and these small, powerful convection ovens began trending in social media and influencer marketing. By connecting these signals and recognizing their significance early, food companies would have been able to capitalize on this trend and create complementary air fryer ready products. So now, let's turn our attention to the critical question. How do you spot these signals from the noise of the usual information flow? To get started, Foresight teams, usually scouts in this stage, can follow these 3 steps. Number 1, scanning of diverse and credible sources. The foundation of signal spotting is the regular and systematic scanning of a wide array of credible sources. This includes industry reports, patent databases, news articles, and social media and other relevant publications. It's essential to choose sources that are reliable and free from misinformation or sensationalism. This broad scope ensures a comprehensive view of the external environment, capturing a wide range of potential signals. Step 2. Identification of signals. The primary job during the scanning process is to identify signals. While each signal on its own might not be conclusive, they are often precursors to significant shifts. Recognizing these signals early on empowers organizations to proactively shape their future strategies. It's about being alert to the early indicators that might seem minor or isolated, but could collectively signify important developments in the business landscape. And lastly, step 3, pattern recognition and connection analysis. This involves developing the ability to discern patterns and connections among the identified signals. This requires a blend of analytical skills and intuition. Scouts need to evaluate the potential implications of each signal, considering how they might collectively influence future trends. This stage is about training the mind to take a holistic view, recognizing relationships between seemingly unrelated pieces of information. Tools like mind maps, visualization software, and artificial intelligence can assist in this process, helping to sift through large volumes of data and highlight connections. It's also important to remember that signal spotting is not a solitary activity. Scouts should collaborate with experts and leverage the company's collective intelligence to draw on diverse perspectives. This collaboration can provide a more nuanced understanding of the signals and their potential implications. Mastering these skills empowers scouts to decipher the buzz of change and ultimately provide evidence of where the companies should place their focus. In the next session, we'll take you from signal scanning to trend and technology identification and evaluation. This step is crucial in transforming initial observations into actionable insights that can guide strategic decisions. See you there. Thanks for joining us again. In the last session, we defined signals and went through the steps to scan, identify, and interpret them. Now, delving further into strategic foresight, we'll see how signals inform the broader landscape of trends and technologies. It's within this landscape that you derive opportunities for innovation. Getting right into it, let's begin by defining what constitutes a trend and a technology. A trend is an observable change that moves in a specific direction. It's a demand driver. It represents new consumer attitudes, expectations, behaviors, or other market shifts that affect individuals, organizations, or society. Trends are an indication of market pull, guiding innovators in knowing what consumers need, desire, and occasionally demand. Meanwhile, a A technology is a type of solution driver that represents a tool designed through R&D and innovation in response to new consumer needs or desires. Technologies are an indication of market push, enabling new business models, products, and services. Now that we've defined trends in technologies, let's discuss how we identify them. We already know that signals may not carry much weight on their own, but collectively, they can hint at broader shifts. So, after a scout has collected and categorized relevant signals, potentially even identifying some emerging trends and technologies, it is then up to the Foresight manager to go deeper. A Foresight manager will look for recurring motifs or connections between signals. The goal is to uncover the underlying patterns that point to trends, technologies, and other drivers of change and insights. Let's look at a real example. In the early 2010s, signals such as the adoption of mobile health apps, the prevalence of wearable health devices, and the interest in virtual doctor consultations became noticeable in the healthcare sector. Together, these signals formed a pattern indicating a growing acceptance of digital technologies for healthcare purposes. Patients were increasingly seeking convenient and accessible healthcare options beyond traditional in-person visits. The identified pattern fused into the emerging trend of telemedicine, involving virtual consultations, remote monitoring, and digital health platforms. This trend marked a transformative shift in healthcare delivery methods, emphasizing technology for remote and efficient medical care. So, as you begin to aggregate signals and interpret what they mean in the context of your business and external environment, you should also consider the direction and magnitude of their impact. Do the signals support or hinder an emerging trend or technology? Both relationships are important to note and tell you something about the future of the trend or technology. For instance, regulations are a type of signal that can sometimes impede a trend or technology. Consider the discussions around generative AI regulation and what that could mean for the potential applications of this tool. This sort of information enriches your trend and technology descriptions. A good trend or tech description includes: what is it? Why is it relevant? Who or what is impacted? And informed predictions of where it is headed in the future. Following the identification and description of your trends and technologies, the next step involves categorization and analysis. This prepares you to derive opportunities and challenges for your business. Probably the most common framework to categorize trends into segments is STEEP, an acronym that stands for social, technological, economic, environmental, and political. PESTLE is a similar framework you may encounter, but includes legal as one of the factors. You may choose to use your own framework based on your organizational objectives or innovation fields. For technologies, you would likely use a technology taxonomy that aligns with your industry or field. A technology taxonomy may group tech by its application or industry, for example, life sciences, ICTs, chemicals and materials, and so on. Doing this categorization provides you with a more holistic understanding of how trends and technologies are connected, and also helps when assigning the right experts to assess the trends. Next comes the evaluation or rating stage. Experts in your company should regularly rate the identified trends and technologies to understand how they impact your business, customers, and industry, and which areas to prioritize. But what criteria should they rate? Defining a universal set of ratings that applies across all industries and organizations can be challenging due to the diverse nature of businesses and their contexts. That means each company must define rating experts as well as rating criteria. Certain common ratings and best practices can still be used when creating a trend or technology rating framework. We've included some resources in this course, including trend and technology rating cheat sheets. These may be a good starting point, but we recommend you tailor your ratings to the unique characteristics of your company and industry. For the best and most consistent results, consider establishing a routine for iterative trend and technology evaluation. Assign rating tasks to the right experts, communicate the criteria and guidelines, set a time frame, or invite evaluators to dedicated workshops to discuss and rate collaboratively. After experts have rated the trends and technologies, the final crucial step involves translating those evaluations into insights. An effective method to visualize and analyze the ratings is plotting the trends and tech on a radar. A radar is a powerful analysis tool that offers a multi-dimensional representation of any rated elements. It's like a visual compass that helps decision makers quickly grasp relative strengths, weaknesses, and relationships in the trend and tech landscape. Trends or technologies with high impact in critical criteria warrant immediate attention, while those with lower ratings may need careful monitoring for strategic adaptation. This foresight helps organizations prepare for a range of potential business opportunities as well as challenges. A radar shouldn't be static. Its value comes from being a dynamic, collaborative tool that can evolve as trends, technologies, and their impact develop over time. Another method to analyze trends and technologies is the uncertainty impact matrix. It involves plotting emerging trends or tech based on their level of uncertainty and potential impact. When assessing the uncertainty of a trend or technology, consider factors such as technological advancements, regulatory changes, or societal shifts. Then, in terms of impact, you would look at the magnitude of influence a trend or technology could have on your industry or business, such as growth opportunities, cost savings, or disruption to existing operations. High uncertainty, high impact trends and technologies plotted in the upper right quadrant have the potential to be disruptive or transformative, but outcomes are unclear. They require close monitoring and may warrant a flexible, exploratory approach. Low uncertainty, high impact trends and tech in the upper left quadrant present opportunities if their trajectories are well understood. Strategies here might involve proactive investments or initiatives. Meanwhile, trends and tech in the lower quadrants may require different levels of attention or deprioritization. This matrix visualization serves as a guide for strategic decision-making and prioritization. To wrap things up, in this session, we've discussed the steps involved in identifying, analyzing, and evaluating trends and technologies relevant to your business environment. You've now laid the groundwork for opportunity discovery. This is where the real value in strategic foresight lies, turning insights into action. And in the next session, we'll finally cover how foresight teams derive new business opportunities. Welcome back. 2 more sessions remain, and we're nearing the conclusion of this course. During the last 4 sessions, we learned how to spot signals, find emerging trends and technologies, and then categorize and analyze them to uncover actionable insights. In this session, we'll explore how to use these insights to derive new business opportunities and implications for innovation. To understand why every company needs clarity on its innovation opportunities, let's begin by defining innovation opportunities using an example made popular by Harvard Business School professor and business consultant Clayton Christensen. Christensen explained his jobs to be done innovation theory by referring to fellow Harvard professor and economist Theodore Levitt's words, "People don't want to buy a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole." This saying highlights that the focus should be on understanding the problem rather than a particular solution. Begin by understanding what the job is that the target audience wants done. This mindset can help you identify new opportunities. If people cannot reach their desired outcome easily, there's an opportunity for improvement. In other words, an opportunity is a positive way of framing a problem statement. It's not just about solving a particular problem, it is about recognizing the problem itself. To put it into a definition, opportunities are potential favorable circumstances or conditions identified through environmental scanning, which can be leveraged for creative solutions, new products, or improved processes. If exploited effectively, opportunities are arenas for future growth, savings, or earnings. They orientate you to innovate in fields where you see the highest chances to sustain or grow your market position. Opportunities often emerge from recognizing and understanding changes in the external environment, such as technological advancements, market shifts, or socioeconomic trends. Where a challenge represents a problem or obstacle, an opportunity represents a chance to innovate, grow, or gain a competitive advantage by addressing that challenge. And for any given challenge, there's often more than one opportunity. Usually, there's a portfolio of opportunities that a company can address. Arriving at these opportunities requires a systematic process that begins with aligning the insights from environmental scanning with your company's internal business goals, strategy, and capabilities. This step involves reviewing your company's long-term objectives and matching them with external trends and technologies to identify areas of potential innovation. Look for intersections where external trends and tech can be leveraged to create new products, services, or processes. Once potential innovation opportunities are identified, it's smart to cluster them into a portfolio based on shared characteristics, like strategic focus fields, markets, or customer needs. Clustering helps manage the complexity of the opportunity landscape and unveils patterns that might not be immediately apparent. You will also want to evaluate and prioritize them based on criteria like feasibility, impact, and strategic alignment. Focus on opportunities that offer significant growth potential and align with your company's strengths. Maintain an iterative approach. We advise that Foresight teams continuously revisit and update environmental scanning and alignment processes. Do this to identify new opportunities and adapt to changing trends, emerging technologies, and business needs. This structured approach ensures that insights from the external environment are effectively transformed into actionable innovation opportunities in line with your company's goals and capabilities. Of course, opportunities on their own mean little if you don't communicate them to the right audience in your company and develop them into action plans. If you want to be really prepared for decision-making meetings with management, it's smart to have a matrix visualization ready to display your opportunity landscape in one view. Similar to the trend and tech radar, using software to map your opportunity portfolio makes things easier and ensures an interactive and up-to-date view. Finally, crucially, as a company, you need to develop detailed action plans for top priority opportunities, allocating necessary resources and assigning responsibilities to relevant teams or departments. Implement these plans and monitor progress regularly, adjusting strategies as needed. The process of deriving opportunities is not linear. It's an iterative and ongoing strategic necessity for all Foresight teams. By adopting a systematic, adaptive, and continuous approach to Foresight, your team will not only navigate complexities, you'll also develop a portfolio of opportunities ready to drive sustainable growth and innovation. Making a commitment to Foresight goes beyond just a routine. It becomes a catalyst for shaping a resilient and thriving future for your organization. Okay, so how should you set up a successful Foresight team, and what's required from them? We'll explore that in the final session. See you there. Welcome back to our final session of this course of Strategic Foresight Essentials. In the previous 5 sessions, we've covered establishing the foundation, defining essential tasks, learning to identify signals, uncovering trends and technologies, and extracting opportunities. Now, we focus on how to bring all of this to life by enabling these activities with robust corporate foresight capabilities. In this session, we'll delve into the crucial steps to cultivating corporate foresight capabilities and assembling a winning team. When you start building a foresight team, it's essential to follow a sequence of steps. Maybe you already have a winning team and a foresight process in place. That's great, but if not, let's break it down into 4 steps. Number 1, start by pinpointing focus topics. You might remember from the last session that focus fields help experts derive opportunities. So, begin by identifying the focus fields for your foresight initiatives. These can be based on the needs of specific business units or business goals provided by your management. Management may have already set key topics for the upcoming year aligned with your organization's strategy. Alternatively, a business unit might be interested in studying changing consumer behavior, prompting them to reach out to you for insights. Once you've identified the focus fields, you can start the analysis. Depending on your team's resources and capabilities, this second step could involve conducting the analysis yourself, or you might collaborate with your foresight team using specialized software and generative AI tools, or even partner with external agencies and consulting. The key to this analysis phase is employing a mix of expertise, technology, and methods to thoroughly explore the selected focus fields. The third step is to compile a comprehensive report of your analysis. Make sure to clearly communicate the significance of the identified signals, trends, and technologies. You can also provide an outlook of potential opportunities. Ensure the report is well structured and tailored to resonate with your target audience. Grant your audience access to the evidence behind your findings. If you use software, for instance, make sure that everyone can access and easily trace back from an opportunity to related trends, tech, and signals to understand your insights. The last step is to engage with your audience or internal client, whether it's a specific business unit, management, or the whole company. Simply sending a report with no follow-up engagement might not be enough. You'll want to present the report, facilitate discussions, explain your findings, provide evidence, and gather feedback. This step is crucial for continuous foresight, as it ensures your foresight efforts are strategically aligned with the needs of the business. To make these steps work and secure your foresight activities, you need to expand your network within the company. How can you achieve this? The answer is engagement. Cultivate relationships with key stakeholders and decision makers. Find a way to motivate others outside your team to participate in finding and submitting signals. As your foresight team demonstrates value, contributing to your company's innovation strategy and business goal, you will likely receive more requests for future projects. And with this increased demand, foresight teams often secure access to more resources, including budget and personnel. With recognition and resources flowing toward your team, you're able to expand your foresight capabilities and impact even further. Well done. You now have a systematic approach to building corporate foresight capabilities. Remember that foresight is an ongoing process, and continuous improvement is key. Be agile, adapt to changes, and stay at the forefront of anticipating and shaping the future. As we conclude this course, take a moment to reflect on the journey you've undertaken. You explored the significance of strategic foresight, understood the roles and responsibilities of a foresight team, delved into scouting for signals, identifying trends and technologies, and learned how to derive new business opportunities. Now, armed with the knowledge of building a winning team, you're better equipped to navigate the complexities of an ever-changing business landscape. Remember, the future belongs to those who actively shape it. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about the essentials of strategic foresight. As you continue to grow and innovate, we encourage you to explore our other Academy courses and online resources available at ITONICS-innovation.com.